Good morning, grade 4 students. How are you? Welcome to a new English lecture. This is lecture number 6, week 34. In this lecture, we will be referring to Unit 3, week 1 in your reading book and in the phonics practice book. What do we have in this lecture? We're going to read and spell words with R controlled vowels. We have already studied this one, but we only covered the one about the AR that pronounced R. Now deduce the author's point of view. This is also not a new skill. You have covered this one before. Find the meaning of unfamiliar words using context clues. This is really nice and interesting skill that you really need to understand. Recall the features of genre fantasy. So our story is fantasy. I love stories with fantasy genres. You can refer to phonics practice book pages 61 to 65, exercises in this lecture, and the reading writing workshop pages 166 till 169. So as we said, we have the phonics, the R controlled vowels. This is our first mission. Vocabulary are related to the lesson at the library. And other skills or goals, we have the genre, which is fantasy, the vocab strategy, which is context clues, and the comprehension strategy, which is the author's point of view. Phonics. Our phonics lesson is about the sound. The sounds in short are an R controlled vowel. When you have an R and then a vowel behind the R, this means the R is controlling the sound of this vowel. Usually letter E sounds eh, like an egg, or E, okay, long E. But here when it comes before the letter R, it doesn't have any control anymore. Actually, the letter R is in control. Just try to say the word shirt. How do you say it? Do you say shirt? Do you say sh-eh? No. The R is controlling the vowel and is making us saying as like letter U, like the letter U. Do you see? That's why there is letter U here, okay? But it's not okay? So we have to pay attention to the way we pronounce it. And this sound, the sound, doesn't only come with E and R. It can be with I and R, U and R, or O and R. We're going to cover all these themes together. So whenever you see E and R, I R, U R, O R, you say it like, you know, the word you always keep saying is, you say here, I think, or hair. No, this one you say her. You keep confusing this, so you keep mispronouncing this word. So we say her. According to this rule, the E and R make the sound Now this is our phonics list. We have the word herb, herb. Next I have person. Next I have this is two blends, stern, and then the suffix ly. So we say sternly. You have to read these words with me, okay? Here I have serpent, serpent. Next I have also worse. When I have EA and then R, I say pearl. Focus on the sound. Pearl. Dirty. Here is birth. Make the sound You have to say it. You have to hear yourself saying the sound so it can stuck in your brain. birth, shirt, shirt, twirl, 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 swirl, 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 purse, 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 curl, 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 curve, 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 curb, 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 hurl, 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 turkey, 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 turnip, 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 purpose, purpose, blurred, blurred. Now let's find out the meanings of some of these words. Okay, so the first one is herb, herb. So what is a herb? This is a picture of a herb, and what does it mean? It's any plant with leaves or seeds or flowers that is used for flavoring food or medicine or even perfume. This is lavender. Maybe you know it because of its color. So they make a nice perfume out of lavender. And so these herbs, they are used for, you know, they add some spices and some flavors to the food. Next, I have the word sternly, sternly. So this is a picture showing us a girl pointing at someone in a stern way. So it's in a way that is difficult and puts a pressure on someone or something. You can imagine this girl like saying, hey, you have to do your homework, for example. So she's speaking sternly. Next, I have the word serpent. What is a serpent? Easy, from the picture, from the definition, it's a large snake. Serpent, serpent. Next, I have the word twirl, twirl. To twirl is to spin quickly and lightly round, especially repeatedly. So when you twirl, just like this guy over here, he's using this stick to twirl, means spinning it repeatedly. The next one, I have the word swirl, to move in a twisting pattern, like this one, like the tornado. The tornado swirls. Curb. What's a curb? A street, sidewalk, or pavement. This is the curb. Okay, so this is the curb of the sidewalk. It can also mean street or the sidewalk. Curl. You know, curl. Look at the hair of this boy or girl. I think it's a boy. So something in the shape of a spiral or coil, especially a lock of hair. This one here is called a lock of hair. Hurl. What does it mean? To throw with great force. Just look at this player here. Hurl. He's throwing the ball with a great force. It means hurl. 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 Turnip. What's a turnip? It's a root vegetable, like this one. This is a turnip. Blurred. Unable to see or be seen clearly. This is the meaning of the word blurred. Let's do some practice. So this one is from your phonics practice book. Unit 3, week 1. Okay, you can look at the at your book and find the phonics page of unit 3, week 1. Write the spelling word that belongs with the other words in the group. Number 1, I have life and death. Which one here goes with this pattern? Life and death. Life, death. You can see, if you look in this column, you can find that the last word is birth. It actually goes with the pattern. Number 2, spice and seasoning. I think you got it. It is the word herb. Child and woman, these are what? People. So I can say person. Reason and goal. I'm just going to cross this one out. Reason and goal. This is what it means. Let me see if I can help you. It's in the last column. A reason or a goal is a purpose. Purpose. Number 5, a street or sidewalk. I showed you a picture of it. So this is a curb. Curb. Next, monster or snake. A large snake. We covered that. That's a serpent. A bag or pocket book. It's easy. It is a purse. Messy or muddy. Something that is messy or muddy. You got it right. It means it is dirty. Firmly or sharply, like the girl I showed you a picture of. It means sternly. Bend or turn. To bend or to turn means to curve. Curve. Write the spelling word that best completes each sentence. This is the other section in the same page. So we have these words. These are the words that we didn't choose, that we didn't use in paragraph in part A. I have worse, curl, turkey, pearl, twirl, turnip, swirl, hurl, blurred, and shirt. Are you feeling better or what than yesterday? Are you feeling better or worse? Her tight blank would not straighten. Her tight would not straighten. So her tight curl would not straighten. That's the word curl. Number 13, the leaves blank around on a windy day. What happens to the leaves? They spin repeatedly in like a pattern, right? So they swirl. Number 14, a blank is a root vegetable just as a carrot is. So what is this kind of vegetable? It is the turnip. So let me cross these, worse and curl and swirl and turnip. My sight blank as I fought back tears. So someone is crying. What happens to their sight? They wouldn't be able to see clearly. So we say blurred. My sight blurred. Did you see the drum major her button? So as I showed you during a musical show, for example, the man holding the stick, that stick is called baton, and what does he do with it? Twirls. Okay, so did you see the drum major twirl her baton? The baton is the stick that she uses to hit the drums. Number 17, you might find a what inside an oyster? You might find a turkey, a pearl, a hurl, or a shirt. That is the correct answer is a pearl. 18, do you eat what for Thanksgiving dinner? Usually Americans, they eat turkey. That tag inside my what made my neck itch? You have shirt and you have hurl. So around my shirt. I wanted to blank the ball as far as I could throw it. To throw with a great force, that is to hurl. Hurl. What are our vocab words? Let's find out. We have acquaintance, cautiously, complementary, jumble, logical, scornfully, scrounging, trustworthy. Let's repeat them again. Acquaintance, acquaintance, acquaintance. Cautiously, all this is sh, cautiously. Complementary, jumble, logical. Scornfully, scornfully, scrounging, ow. This makes the sound ow. 3 letters blend. Scrounging. And the compound word, which is trustworthy. Trustworthy. Meanings. Acquaintance. An acquaintance is someone, so it's about a person you know, but who's not a close friend, you know, like being a classmate. Someone you know, but you're not close friends. Joe talked to his acquaintance, Tony, hoping to get to know him better. What is the difference between an acquaintance and a friend? So what is the difference between an acquaintance and a friend? It is already mentioned in the definition. Next one, cautiously. To do something cautiously means to do it with care, you know, to be careful. For example, Eric gently. Gently is another meaning for cautiously. Touched the owl's feathers. So what is a synonym for cautiously? Let's find out who will know the answer. Complementary. Complementary. If something is complementary, it makes something whole or complete. For example, you know, if two friends are going along together really well, we can use that. We can say that they complement each other, like they complete each other. They make each other a whole. Peanut butter and jelly taste good because they are complementary foods. It means they go along together. Complementary, like you complete me. What foods do you think are complementary other than peanut butter and jelly? Jumble. A jumble is a confused mixture or condition. Okay? For example, the jumble of masks and snorkels lay tangled together in the bottom of the boat. Jumble. So something that is jumble means they are in a confused mixture or condition. Here they are giving us an example of masks and snorkels. What might you find jumble at the bottom of a closet? What about other than this one? I think if you think of cables, you know, like the telephone charger, probably if you have the mouse, the computer mouse cable, for example, the chargers, all these will form a jumble if you put them together unorganized. Logical. Logical. Something that is logical makes sense and is based on reason, common sense, you know, something that is common sense. Maybe it doesn't follow a specific rule, but your brain cannot accept it if it's not logical. On a multiple choice test, the girl tried to figure out the most logical answers. This means sometimes, you know, multiple choice questions, they may have really close answers that you cannot figure out and be 100% sure of the right answer. So you would use your brain to figure the most logical one. What is logical way to arrange books? This is an important question. I'm sure that I will hear creative answers from you. Scornfully. Scornfully. If you say or do something scornfully, you say it or do it in a way that shows dislike or that you are making fun. For example, look at the mother here. She's not happy, right? The mother spoke scornfully to her son about his bad study habits. So the mother here is not happy from her son's behavior or habits. Probably her son is spending too much time watching videos rather than studying, or playing video games rather than studying. That's why the mom is speaking scornfully to her son. What might you speak? When might you speak scornfully? Scrounging. Scrounging. When someone is scrounging for something, it means they are trying to obtain or collect. Obtain means collect something with difficulty. So scrounging means trying to collect something, but it's not easy to collect it. We say scrounging. Tina saw the cat scrounging through the overflowing trash can. So apparently the cat is hungry and it is trying to collect something to eat. What makes it difficult is that there are lots of trash in this trash can that she can smell. The cat can smell the food, but it cannot find it easily. It's very hard to collect it. So rather than saying the cat is trying hard to collect the food, you can say the cat is scrounging through the trash to find food. Describe what someone looks like scrounging through a backpack. Imagine you want to find an eraser in your backpack and the teacher is counting backwards, like you have 3 seconds to get ready, or and you will not be able to borrow anything from your friend. So the teacher is counting and you are scrounging through your backpack in order to find an eraser. How would you feel? Trustworthy. To be trustworthy means to be reliable. It means that people will rely on you, depend on you, trust you, because you do not lie, and you are a man of your word. You keep your word. When you are mountain climbing, it is good to have a trustworthy partner. Look at this trustworthy partner. He's helping this boy to get to the top of the mountain. What is the antonym for trustworthy? I'm waiting for your answers. We're going to use these words. Now, this is something that you do not have in your books. Use a word from the box to answer each question. What were the mice doing when they were looking on the ground for food? What were the mice doing? Let's read the words. Acquaintance means to hang with each other, but not to have to be friends. Cautiously means like gently. Complimentary means complete or whole. Jumble, it's like a big mess. Logical, it makes sense. Scornfully, it means firmly, sternly. Scrounging, like collecting in a hard way. And trustworthy. So what were the mice doing when they were looking on the ground for food? They were scrounging. Which word could you use to describe a mess? It's the word jumble. I hope that you are getting the answers before I display the answer. What do you call a person you know? If you know him but you're not friends, he's an acquaintance. You spend time with each other, but he's not a best friend or closer friend. How was the judge acting when she told the politician he had broken the law? So I'm going to cross these words. So how was the judge acting? Okay, so I'm looking for a describing word. She was acting cautiously, complimentary, logical, scornfully, or trustworthy. Do you think the judge is happy about the fact that the politician had broken the law? Of course not. So she's more like a mom and trying to talk. She's not happy from her son's behavior. So the same here, the judge is not happy from the politician's behavior because he has broken the law. So she would be speaking scornfully. What is another word for carefully? Carefully means gently or cautiously. How would you describe someone you can rely on as climbing the mountain? He has to be trustworthy. Which word would describe someone who's very sensible? Is it logical or complimentary? That is logical. What is another word for making a whole? That is complimentary. Now, what do we have in the other skills? The author's point of view. A point of view. Every story has a narrator or a person who tells the story. If you're telling a story about something that happened to someone else, you would be narrating someone else's story, right? Telling a story. The narrator's point of view tells how the narrator feels or thinks about the characters or events. When the narrator uses pronouns such as he or she or they, the story has a third person narrator. Some of you wrote this answer when I asked about the author's point of view, and I've never explained it before. Now I'm explaining. So you can say that we have a third person narrator. How do you know? Because he's using a he or she or they. It means the narrator is telling someone else's story. Okay, we say that the point of view, it's from a third person point of view. Third person point of view. The genre is fantasy. This selection that we're going to read is a fantasy. It includes invented characters and settings, not real. That's the meaning of invented. It has elements that could not exist in real life, like the setting, you know, the time, the place, maybe. And it often has illustrations so they can help you imagine what's happening. Context clues. As you read, you may come across words you don't know. To figure out the meaning of an unfamiliar word, look for clues in nearby phrases and sentences. Now we're going to start reading. Look at this picture. You can see it's from the picture what is the story about, and from the title it's at the library. You can say that the setting, the place is the library. This is real. A library is a real place, but here it's either this man is a huge monster or these small figures are so tiny. Okay, so we're going to find out which one is the right answer. Rick Dodson admired the pink and orange sky as he waved goodbye to Mrs. Rio and locked the library door. So that huge boy we saw is Rick Dodson. And he's watching the pink and orange sky. This means, what is the setting? What is the time of this story? It means this story happened at afternoon, okay, before sunset or during sunset. As the sun began its descent behind the Blue Ridge Mountains, just imagine the sun is setting behind a mountain, Rick started walking to his office to collect his jacket. Seeing a jumble of books on a reading table, apparently there were people reading a group of books and they just piled them up on a table without organizing them. He sighed and began to gather them into a neat pile. He doesn't like to have the books unorganized. No, he stated firmly and returned the books to the table. Not tonight. So something happened that he doesn't like. The librarian never left any books out, but today was his birthday, which meant a brisk walk to the Cupcake Cafe for a birthday treat before it closed at 5:30 p.m. So what does he do during his birthday? He walks, okay, to a cafe, and he just buys himself a treat. What does this say about the boy, about Rick? I can say that he is lonely because apparently he doesn't have someone to celebrate his birthday with, and he doesn't have anyone to give him a gift for his birthday, so he's rewarding himself. I can say that he likes to be organized because he refused to have the piles of book jumble the way he described. So he's organized, he's tidy, he's neat. That evening, as he sat at home in his book-filled living room, so I can say that he is a reader or he loves books. These are the traits of our character, Rick. Rick thought about the old friends who had called to wish him a happy birthday. So he does have friends, but these friends are probably far away. If only his job had not required him to move halfway across the country. So that's the reason. That's the reason he's lonely. He left his friends somewhere and then he moved to another place because apparently he loves his job. So I think that we can say that his job is is the most important thing in his life. After 6 months here, he had made more than one new acquaintance, but not real friends yet. So he knows a lot of people, but none of them are close friends. Books are my friends, he thought, which reminded him of the books sitting on the table at the library. So as he was sitting in his living room, probably trying to remember his life before he accepted this job, where he used to spend some time with his friends, and now in order to make things easier for him, he declared that books are his friends. And then he remembered this big pile of books he saw at the library. I might as well go back tonight and shelve them. He wants to put them on shelves, he decided. He entered the library and flicked on the lights, means turned on the lights. Immediately, he noticed a book. What is the title of the book? Small World. Face down on the floor. What's going on? He muttered as he bent down and cautiously lifted up the book. Ah, he yelled and dropped the book. Something happened. Let's see. 4 miniature. Mini means small. Miniature means very small figures scrambled out of the way as the book landed on the floor with a thud. So when he was trying to put the book on the table, 4 figures, mini figures, tried to escape or to run away from the book. Mr. Dodson, exclaimed a breathless voice, we are enchanted to make your acquaintance. So they are offering their friendship, kind of friendship, like they want to introduce themselves to Rick. Now Rick said, what? Who? Rick stammered. He doesn't understand what's happening. We're the Bookers. I'm William. So now they are introducing themselves and they call themselves Bookers, from book, Bookers. This is Emily and our children, Harry and Clementine. By the way, happy birthday. Looks like they have some information about our friend Rick. You know it's my birthday. Naturally, it means obviously. We read your file when you arrived 6 months ago. It's only logical that we would want to learn about the new librarian. You were scrounging through my files, means you were looking, you were collecting information from my files, Rick said, collapsing into a nearby chair. So when he was talking, he still cannot believe what he's saying, and he was collapsing, means like he was sitting on a chair trying to find, he lost balance probably, and he's trying to find a chair to sit on. He rubbed his eyes, but the tiny figures were still there, looking up at him expectantly. Suddenly, the nimble Bookers began shimming up the table. We're absolutely trustworthy, Emily assured him. Haven't you heard of Bookers? William asked. Every library has Bookers. We ensure everything runs smoothly, said Emily. Seen any mice around? They love to gnaw on everything. The G is silent. Say gnaw. Gnaw means to chew. Rick slowly shook his head. I do nightly rodent patrols, Harry stated proudly. So Harry is another one. So far we have William. This is the first one. We have Emily. Where's Emily? Here's Emily. And now we have Harry. So Emily is making sure that there are no mice around. Harry makes rodent patrols. Those mice run at the sight of me, he added scornfully. Do your chairs ever squeak? Inquired Clementine. So Clementine is responsible for the sound, for the maintenance of the chairs. No, that's because we oil them. So they put oil. That's why they do not squeak. Rick considered the past 6 months. He thought about them. He hadn't seen one mouse. His chairs never squeaked, and his pencils were never dull. It means they used to sharpen the pencils. The pencils, he asked. He's trying to get the figure. We sharpen them nightly, William replied. But why? Asked Rick. Look around, exclaimed William. We work and read. Bookers and libraries are complementary. It means they work together, they become one whole. We belong together. To be honest, Mr. Dodson, said Emily, we wanted to meet you because we thought that we could be friends. Rick Dodson grinned, means smiled. Call me Rick and I'd love to be friends, he said. Rick eventually made other new friends, but he still spent many evenings with the Bookers. He bought a toy car for Harry's rodent patrol, and he read scary stories aloud to Clementine. Every year on his birthday, he brought cupcakes for his friends to share with them. This is the end of our story. Now, talk about how the Bookers made Rick Dodson feel welcome. What did they do? What did they do for him? They sharpened the pencils. They made sure no mice around. The chairs do not squeak. And what did he do in return after they become friends? He read books to Clementine, and he brought them cupcakes for his birthday, and he also brought a car, a toy car for Harry. Now, complete the point of view graphic organizer. We have details. Rick went out for his birthday to treat by himself. For his birthday treat by himself. So Rick, our main character, he went out for his birthday treat by himself, as we said. What does this mean? Rick thought about his older friends who had called to wish him a happy birthday. Another detail is about friends. These two details telling us that Rick doesn't have friends. Another one, we can say that Rick eventually made new friends. So what is the author's point of view? That Rick misses his older friends and wants new friends. So this is a third person point of view. We're talking about Rick, about he. Read each passage and then underline the context clues that help you figure out the meaning of each word in bold. Then write the word's meaning on the line. The tree looked and saw a baby bluebird there, trembling. He was alone in a nest of twigs and feathers. The baby bird was shaking with fright. So what do you think here the context is? What is the meaning of the word trembling? And what words helped you figure out the meaning? So we can say it means shaking because it's already written, right? We have the word shaking, so trembling means shaking. The tiny bird jumped. He looked surprised, startled by the tree's question. So surprised means startled. Sure, said the squirrel. He dashed into his home in the tree. He reappeared just as fast with his paws full of food. The squirrel ran again to the bird's nest. and tossed in nuts and berries. So the word dash, what does the word dash mean? To dash is to run again and run quickly, okay? Because when I read this sentence, I will figure out the meaning from the sentence. This is the end of our Zoom lecture, lecture. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you during our Zoom.